Welcome to another edition of Highliner News. I'm Casey.
And I'm Lindsay. First, we have Corey Nelson recapping homecoming week.
Monday was athlete versus mathlete with a powder puff game after school, where the seniors dominated the juniors, beating them 30-6. Tuesday was color day, and the volleyball team fell to Shanley 3-1. Wednesday was pattern day, and we got let out early to work on our floats. Thursday was Decades Day, and the volleyball team fell to Red River 3-2. Friday was the pep rally, where Evan Frethheim and Lexi Triebold were crowned king and queen, with their homecoming court Austin Thornton, Mitchell Taylor, Jesse Undum, and Callie Hallgrimson. Later Friday night, the football team took on the Wahpeton Huskies, winning 36-8, with the band performing at halftime. Saturday, the cross-country team ran in Minot in preparation for the EDC meet. This is Corey Nelson reporting for Highliner News.
As fall sports come to an end and winter sports begin, we sat down with Athletic Director Mr. Schultz to get some valuable information on good sportsmanship.
Reporter Eric Ingstead brings you the story.
Something fans do not realize is that there are rules to follow when cheering.
Mainly, we go by the direction of the High School Activities Association, North Dakota High School Activities Association, and they give us some guidelines that we should follow, and that they're trying to promote sportsmanship in the state. And one of the areas that they're looking at is, especially in volleyball, is what's going on with the serve and what's happening at the serve. And they kind of look at that as being kind of the center point of what to do and what not to do. They came out with some guidelines, and they said they don't want cheering during the serve. We got that clarified, and the clarification is that during the serve it's okay to cheer, as long as you would use that cheer any other time during the game, and as long as it's directed in a positive manner. We shouldn't be directing any cheers at an individual, calling out numbers, calling out mistakes that they're making, those types of things. And so we kind of go along with that. It's really gets to be kind of a slippery slope, because what is cheering at somebody and what is cheering for somebody. And we try and just keep it positive. We want to make sure that our kids are cheering, but we like the high energy that our fans bring. We get really excited when they're there and they're cheering. And that's a big thing for me, is just I like to see our kids excited and working in the stands to help our players get excited for what they're doing. They get excited, and it's all really great, but we just need to do it in a positive manner.
Reporting for Highliner News, this is Eric Ingstead.
Health instructor Mr. Bacalar gives sophomores an experience of taking care of a baby.
Kaylor Logan delivers the story.
So I've been doing it for 5 years now, and over the years we've seen a couple of changes, and we've just recently, over this past 2 years, gotten the newer version of the Real Care babies, which is nice, and so they require a little bit more care, and actually taking the children and changing the clothes a little more, and body temperature is regulated, so it takes a lot of different factors into consideration now than the previous ones did.
Students usually dread taking the baby, but it is a valuable experience.
Basically what it's intended to do is to give the students basically an experience of caring for a child. The biggest thing is the time management with the children, and then that's one of the biggest things that students seem to struggle with, and the fact that it will wake them up in the evenings. So they'll take it on a Friday. It usually turns on about 9 or 10 in the evening, and then it will shut off on Sunday, usually early afternoon, between 1 and 3 o'clock. And so there's basically 15 different schedules that the babies can be on. And so I program them, and it has a random schedule. And then, so we see that when they come back, and I get the report from the babies, what schedule they had, and you can see, when they were active and when they weren't active.
Reporting for Highliner News, this is Kaylor Logan.
Every month, top students are selected for the 7th and 8th grade based on certain criteria such as working to potential, respect for peers and staff, along with being honest and trustworthy.
Presley Curtis introduces us September Students of the Month.
The September Students of the Month for Valley City Junior High School are Ada Gilbertson, Gabe Jennison, Darcy Jewett, and Michael Schmidt. Ada's favorite subject in school is English. She's involved in band, choir, and is on the Highlights dance team. Gabe is involved in soccer and hockey. His hobbies are playing soccer outside, playing video games, and watching TV. Darcy's favorite subject in school is English and photography. She is involved in volleyball and softball. Darcy's hobbies are hanging out with friends, playing with her dogs, and being outside. Michael's favorite subject in school is physical education. He's also involved in football. Michael's hobbies are playing video games, practicing martial arts, and working out. Reporting for Highliner News, this is Presley Curtis.
There are lots of activities in the high school that students don't know much about.
Reporter Eric Inkstead traps the story.
During the fall and spring, Valley City students have the opportunity to become a member of the trap shooting team.
The basic of trap shooting is there's 5 stations. You shoot at a bird that rotates left, right, center, and on each station you shoot 5 clays at each station for a total of 25. High school competition, we usually have 2 weeks of practice, and then we have 6 to 8 weeks of trap shooting competition. We shoot trap up at our field for those weeks, and we turn in our scores, and then the scores get compared to everybody else in the state, and each school is divided into conferences on how big their teams are.
Although there is not a lot of requirements to join the sport, there are some things that you need to have in order to join.
Hunter safety, and also having a gun, but that isn't a requirement because we have lots of people that will help share their guns.
Reporting for Highlander News, this is Eric Inkstead.
Senior Katie Meester has a passion for painting.
Haley Dalglish shares her story.
I've always loved art and doing crafts and stuff like that, but I didn't start painting until a couple years ago when I saw a Pinterest article and I was like, I want to do what they did. And so then I tried it and I really liked it. So that was probably about freshman year when I started. I love to paint with watercolor. That's my favorite medium to paint with. But I'll also do some acrylic things. Like I painted a backdrop for my senior pictures and I did that out of acrylics, but mostly it's watercolor.
Katie talks about her inspiration and passion for painting.
My grandpa is a really good artist and he's always been showing me his art and stuff, and same with my great uncle. Like I'll see all of these things that they've done and I'm like, wow, why am I not that talented? But then I tried it and I was like, wow, this is fun and maybe I'm kind of good. I tried it and I really enjoyed it, and it makes me happy to see like my grandpa really proud of me too. It really makes me happy, and when I'm angry or upset, it calms me down, and it's fun just being creative and coming up with things to do and ways to do it.
For Highliner News, this is Haley Dalglish.
With the first winter storm behind us, Mr. Johnson explains the makeup policy.
Reporter Avery Murray brings you the story.
On October 10th, a winter storm blew through Valley City along with most of North Dakota. Valley was hit with 13 to 17 inches of snow that weekend. With this severe weather, we talk with Mr. Johnson about our storm day policy.
Valley City Public Schools has not made any changes to how we are implementing our storm days. We've adopted 4 storm days and built those into our school calendar. The way that our schedule works is because we have a certain number of hours in a school day, we're allowed a grace day, and that was an understanding that from last year that we had to clarify to make sure that there were enough hours, and so we do, and therefore we have the grace day. In addition to that, we have the 4 storm days.
For Highlander News, this is Avery Murray.
Allison Mathias continues her dream about her goal of going to West Point. This summer, she had the opportunity to go to a summer leadership experience.
Alyssa Hatcher gives you the recap.
For a week straight, Allison had to get up at 4 a.m. She had different classes every day and would end her night with activities and training.
I met a lot of people. One of my closer friends from there, she lives in Tennessee. I met people from Virginia and Pennsylvania New York, Florida, Texas, all over. We were divided up into platoons. There were 5 platoons. Each platoon had 8 squads, and squads had about 10 to 15 people. We had to go out to Camp Buckner, which is one of the West Point training camps. We got to go through obstacle courses and see like military vehicles, and we got to learn combat training, combatives, which is pretty much like wrestling.
Reporting for Highlander News, this is Alyssa Hatcher.
Thank you for joining us from Valley City High School for this edition of Highlander News. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Casey.